How dare you ask me to do that? I busted my tail for a year. I put all this time in, and now you're just wanting it. I can't believe you have the audacity to ask.
That's all I said. And then he responded and accused me of being part of the reason him and his wife got divorced.
Good job.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Growth Over Comfort podcast. I am Randy. I am joined with Coach Steve Miller, your hosts for the Growth Over Comfort podcast, where we say there's growth and comfort. You can only choose one. Might as well choose growth, right?
Might as well.
I will admit, I felt like this weekend I did not choose growth. I chose comfort a few times. And I don't know. I might have taken a 3-hour nap on Sunday.
There may be a reason for that. I think you've been running pretty hard. I think you've had some things in your life I know from the time that you and I met, the shift that you made has not been a comfort shift.
No.
I think there's very few things in the last couple of months for you that you looked at and went, man, that's comfortable. I just enjoyed doing that. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's been some avenues and directions that have shifted that'll cause you to have to take a 3-hour nap sometimes.
Yeah, I'm hoping
recharge.
I'm hoping that's it though. I'm not a nap person. I'm not a sleep person. I don't like, if I could get away with no sleep ever and my body be 100% healthy, I would do it. But it's obviously very unhealthy, and you need sleep. But anyways, when I do crash like that, I wake up and I'm just like, what happened? What day is it? So
yeah.
Anyway, I woke up and Anna was, no, that was a different day. I don't remember.
So that's 2 naps.
Yeah, that's 2 naps. Anyway, I'm excited to kind of jump back in and jump on the growth train and start knocking some things out. I've got some awesome meetings happening this week and some other things going on, so I'm pretty pumped. It's going to be a great week. And I love doing these on Monday because I always feel like it's the start of just getting motivated and getting going on the work week. But the one thing I wanted to talk to you today about, and we could talk about anything that comes up, but sure. I kind of wanted to, because we've done a lot of general topics. We've done a lot about leadership and a lot about how to choose growth and all these other things. But let's talk about business. Let's talk about growth. What's the one thing that leads the most to growth? And that's getting clients, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what are some of your, maybe this is just a starting point. We can jump off into anything. But what are some of your favorite ways to get new clients or get new leads or something of that nature? You don't have to give away all the secrets because I know there's secrets.
There are, but we'll give them all away. I think it all starts with relationships. I think that everything rises and falls, obviously, on the relationships and the influence that you have with people.
Yeah.
So the more relationships you can build, the better influence that you have with those guys. And then they begin to realize that not only are you the person that you claim to be, but your integrity and character carries a lot further in that.
Yeah.
And moves you into a different circle. And most of the time you're able to get in their circle. So you're in their circle of influence with influence. So it builds on itself as it goes.
Yep.
So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
All of the traditional methods that people are using today are good, but they're all expensive. We talked about social media. Social media, if it's done right, done correctly, either you're going to spend your time doing it, and it takes a lot of time to learn and grow and do so you can be effective, or you're going to hire somebody like Randy,
like me,
which is invaluable. I mean, you can't pay those guys enough if they're actually great and they bring you clients.
Right.
But the great ones do.
Yeah.
They're going to market the right way. They're going to bring you clients.
Mm-hmm.
And as you grow and as you build, the problem, I'll give you the problem. There's a problem. The problem is, as you're starting a startup business, you're trying to compete with somebody that's been in business for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
That's very good. So you're starting, and your income is not their income. So they're able to hire someone like you that's quality professional. So everything that they roll out is big time.
Yep.
And they have the right reach, and they're reaching the right people. And you're starting out over here, and you don't have that level of income to just roll into that.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes back to the relationship. where you began to build and grow and get your income where it needs to be. Coach Burt says that the biggest thing in that is you go out and build the relationship, build the income piece, and then get the resources you need. Because without the resources you need, getting new clients becomes very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's some things that you use? I mean, just straight word of mouth is huge, but
yeah. So I agree with all that you just said. And I think that I see it because I manage accounts for some of these big influencers I work with. So I get, they get the DMs that say, hi, I can help you with your social media. We can, if you give us one long form content piece, we can give you 20 content pieces in 2 days or whatever. They just jump right in, and it's like, I know that they take that and it's run through a bot and it's sent to 500 people a day, so maybe they get 5 people to respond, but it's like, that's not how you do it. I remember back when I first started doing this, I connected with a guy, and I connected with him on Twitter. His name's Brian, and him and I just connected. And I was friends with him. And then he needed something at one point, and I helped him. Didn't ask for anything. I never asked, except when he needed something, and something was messed up on YouTube, and he couldn't upload on the West Coast. But it was because of YouTube servers on the West Coast. But I was like, hey, I can upload on my end. Everyone in California is having issues. I'm not having any issues over here in Alabama. And I sent that to him, and he was like, dude, will you please upload our video for today? And I was like, yeah, of course. So he let me upload their video to their channel that had I don't know, at the time, probably 2 million subscribers. That was my first whoa, And I didn't mess with anything. I let him know that he can trust me, blah, blah, blah. And basically I added value to him. And that a few other times that happened where I gave value in some form or fashion, never asked. And then when he told me he was looking for an editor, that's when I jumped on and said, hey, here I am. I'd love to do that. And he was like, it was a no. I remember him saying it's a no-brainer for us because we've seen you've been around us for years and we trust you. And he didn't say this, but I've already added value to him without, being an employee or a contractor or whatever.
You showed up.
Yeah. So, but another thing you said that I love was that it brings you to new circles because being with Brian opened up doors to everything else. I mean, that has led, his one job has led to everything else I've done. And to this day, even when I start working with someone new, I actually have the same thought in my head as this is opening up a new circle. This is a new circle of friends. When I started working with the Cordals, which they're down in Dothan, Alabama, and Hunter and Devin Cordal, that was a huge win because they're awesome and they're great people. But they have led to so many new people because of a circle, and it's all just like one big circle. But I think the point is add value. I've had times that people have come to me and they'll ask me to do something. Yeah, here you go. It's done. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, what do I owe you? Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And they're like, really? Yeah, sure. Not a problem. But then when I come along and I need an ask, or when I come along and try to sign them up as a forever client, or whatever, it works out because they already know I've added the value.
One of the things I've seen that a lot of people talk about in the sales circles is add value, add value, add value, ask.
Yeah.
What is it? The jab, 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 hook.
Yep.
They talk about that. That's
Gary
one
V.
of the things. Yeah, Gary Vee talks about all of that. The guys that I'm dealing with and working with now are like 10 to 1. Some of them are 30 to 1.
Yeah.
There'll be 30 pieces of content that they're putting out every secret they have, everything they have. They're not holding anything back. They're literally putting out everything they have. And then they'll have an ask at the end of 30 pieces of content.
Yeah.
And people come and people pay.
Yeah.
Because they know that they'll add value. It's like if they'll give all of that away, what in the world do they have if I actually pay them?
100%.
And it's a lot of stuff that they bring. I'll share this. I got this today, and I don't shake much. Not a whole lot of stuff rattles me. I mean, I don't, mentally at this point, I've been hit a few times. So I know what that feels like. So, nothing really, I don't get responses and go, whew, I took a little wind out.
Yeah.
But I'm in a coaching program now that's all about making an offer. because I'm transitioning into, doing some corporate coaching and doing some leadership coaching and helping individuals use their time habits and attitudes to optimize their next opportunity. So I'm really working in that, and the program I'm in is all about making offers. Well, they have their own Facebook group. So one of the ladies in the Facebook group is has a fitness coaching business, and she's great, does a good job. And she was talking about all of the, the things that she's getting through her offer and how that works. Mm-hmm. So I just sent her a message and said, hey, I'm about to make my first offer. Would like to go through your offer, with you and just see how that works and how that flows. And she sends back, how dare you ask me to do that? I busted my tail for a year. I put all this time in, and now you're just wanting it. I can't believe you have the audacity to ask. No, thank you.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm sitting there going, that's not how I thought that would go.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But in that, the takeaway for me, the learn for me, I'll come off of 75 hard. And when I come off of 75 hard, actually I'm on a 90-day run, really. So my 75 hard will really be 90 days. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing all the stuff in my coaching program and going through all the things that I'm actually going to do for people, so that I can make sure everything's stable and works. If it works for me, it'll work for somebody else. So I'm going through all of that, and I'm really working hard in that. And when I come off of that, I'm looking for a trainer. Mm. I mean, my next move is to move from coming out of the 90-day deal into, okay, I'm going to get in the best shape I've ever been in my life, even when I was a teenager.
Yeah, wow.
She's a trainer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So if I would have gone through that deal and she would have been like, hey, this is what I do, this is how I do it, coming out of that 90-day deal for me, I may have went
with her,
hey, I'm willing to pay this because I want this result and I think you can get me there.
Yeah.
She won't have that opportunity.
No, not anymore.
I mean, who knows? I've lived long enough to know, too, that, everything circles around.
Yeah.
So that may come back, but there's really no chance for that.
Yeah.
Now, and think about my circle. Mm-hmm. And the people that I'm going to contact in the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years. Let's say that she became my trainer. And then I look completely different. And then people in my circle, I'll be like, hey, this is who you need to go to.
Yeah, they would see. And
7 or 8 referrals in a year changes her whole business.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just the way you respond to people.
I think that's the key, is that it's not even the fact that she was like, no thanks. Mm-mm. It's the way she responded. Mm-hmm. and that sticks with people,
Yeah.
Like, I know that there is the whole, forgive and forget and all that, but it's like, I mean, we can forgive, but also keep in mind so we're not bitten again,
Yeah.
Like the dog, you don't want to be bit by the same dog twice. And no. I think even in business, when I'm talking with someone and it doesn't work out, I am still the most polite person. I have someone who ruined my 2019. And I don't like saying things like that because I believe that you are the one that has the power and the responsibility to take care of it. But I wasn't that person back then. And I wasn't. I was very much like, well, let's just see what I'm given. That's my attitude towards everything. And so I would try to go out and drum up business and do things, but I really wasn't a go-getter back then. But I had one person who they just dropped me completely from a huge, like they were my only client, and they made me like I couldn't have anyone else. I had signed an exclusivity deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they dropped me without any warning and no severance or anything. And that 2019 was very hard for me and Anna. And so it's the lowest I think we've been ever. But anyway, about a year later, no, 2 years later, that guy came back to me. And he was like, hey, man, I just want you to let you know, like, I'm back in the YouTube video game. And he actually, just a side note, him and his wife went through a terribly messy divorce.
Sure.
And it was all because of they put YouTube as their god and their source of money and everything. And at least that's my opinion. That's what I think. Who knows if it's actually true, but that's what I think. And it tore them apart. I mean, they had other issues too, but this is not a marriage podcast. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway, they went through a terrible divorce. And he came back to me and was like, man, now that she's gone, he literally said that. Now that she's gone, I can make all the right calls that I want to make that I know is going to propel us to the next level. And he's like, and I got the YouTube videos or the YouTube channels in the divorce. That's one of the assets was the YouTube channel. Anyway, so he was like, so let's start working together again. And even when I responded, like, so this is my chance to like rail this guy.
Right.
And I didn't. All I said was, hey, man, I don't think so. Last time we worked together, you left us in a really bad bind, and it was one of the hardest times of my life. I don't want to ever have any chance to repeat that. So no thanks. That's all I said. And then he responded and like accused me of being part of the reason him and his wife got divorced.
Good job.
And I was like, that's your character. That's your character. And that's why you will always be what I consider to be a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
He could be super successful and he could make a lot of money, but unless he changes, I don't think that man will ever be happy.
Yeah.
And I hope he finds it one day, but it's not going to be, I'm not going to be a part of it.
You know, John Maxwell, I think, has it nailed. And it all comes from the Bible, from John Maxwell's stuff. But he said, if you really want to make an impact, add value.
Yeah.
But if you really, 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 really want to grow, not only add value to people, add value to the people around those people.
Yeah.
So find their people and add value to their people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think about that a lot. You know, there are people in the world, and I know they exist because they existed for me when I was a kid. There are people in the world that will know you, get your address, know how many kids you have, and send your kids a birthday card.
Yeah. That's incredible.
They're just adding value.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid growing up, there was a business in town. My mom and dad were parents at the boys' ranch in Danville. And they just took care of boys that couldn't stay at home for whatever reason. And the coolest thing, that business, not that business, but the couple that owned that business would send every boy at the boys' ranch a birthday card with some money in it every year.
Wow.
Consistently. I now know what that takes. Somebody has to mentally sit down and go, that kid means enough to me to take time out of my day to write this card, to put this money in, to put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and send it to that kid.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's pretty big.
And you know those kids, they're going to remember that as they get older, you know, and they're just going to always remember how great that was. And, you know, things like that, this goes back to what we just said, things like that stick, you know, like I wish that guy well, the guy that I was talking about, but if he messages me again, I'll probably just ignore it and be like, no thanks. Like, I'm not interested in anything you have to say. And, you know, I'm not saying that you and this lady will never work together, but, you know, that put a pretty
Odds are not very good.
Odds are not great.
No.
Not after something like that.
No. And the other piece, not that I'm somebody, but she has no idea who I am.
Yeah.
She doesn't know me from anybody.
Right.
I mean, I could be like a gym owner that owns 50 gyms.
Yeah.
I she doesn't know.
Right. Well, and also the assumption that she's worked really hard for a year and you're trying to take that away from her or something is almost like, you've worked hard for a year. Great job. Here's a cookie. You know, that's great. Yeah. Good job. Like, I'm proud of you. Awesome. But like, I'm not trying to steal your stuff.
I don't want your stuff.
I just want to add value, you know?
Yeah.
So
anyway. I would like to have the example of what you did. I would like to call and go through the call and do all of those things. Just walk through it. Yeah, there may be things in there that I would take away. There may be things in there that I would go, I'm not interested in doing that.
Yeah.
But it does help to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
Coach Burt's been working on his stuff for 30 years. Mm-hmm. If I call Coach Burt today or text him today and go, hey, listen, I want to do a call with you, and I want you to do a sales call with me, just like I'm calling brand new, would you walk me through that? He'd go, yes, sir. 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if I didn't get on the phone at 4 o'clock, that's on me.
Right.
But he would give me a time and he would do that. He's been doing it for 30 years, makes over $10 million a year in his coaching business.
Yeah.
It's just a different mindset.
It is. I heard recently Alex Ramosi says this. This is my chance to say his name for this episode.
We say it every podcast. So
But he says
we need to say Alex up front. Just go ahead and get it out.
Yeah, exactly. He should have his name should probably be on like a little bitty part of the podcast.
I wonder if he'll come be on our podcast if we say his name every day.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Day 349 of saying Alex Ramosi on my podcast. Have you seen those videos?
Yeah, but we do need that
Yeah.
disclaimer on the bottom.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get him to be on our podcast.
People do that though. People say, I'm not stopping till I have The Rock on my podcast or something. You know, they say some celebrity or something. Mine would be Alex Ramosi for sure.
Well, he's unbelievable. So there's a reason for that.
But Alex Ramosi says that you should give away all the secrets, but sell the customization. So you can go to or you can call this content and say, this is exactly what you should do. This is how you should get new clients. This is how you should get new deals made and make offers and all this stuff. But then you have a side thing where you say, but I'll show you how to specifically do it, how you should do it, whatever. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And talking about the jab, 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 right hook, he actually believes in, this is going to sound silly, but he believes in jab, 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 jab. In other words, he says
Just
never.
completely jab, never right hook.
Never right hook. And so the way he says to do that is give everything away for free, run sponsored ads that sell your thing. And so that way, what you see is people see you on their feed and they see all the content you give away for free. And then you make an ad and it looks just like that content. And when they get to it, they're like, oh, this is another Hormozi video. And you watch it, and then he goes, I'm actually selling blah, 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 blah. You can come check it out if you want to. And you're like, whoa, he's selling something. But the thing is, it's an ad.
But it's never in his content.
Yep. So,
I like that.
So if you go
like
to
it a
his
lot.
feed, you never actually see that. It's only if the ad is served to you, if the ad algorithm decides that. Or he said you can, if you don't like sponsored ads and you can't pay sponsored ads, sell through DMs. You make everything available publicly for free, and then you sell privately because no one can see that except the person you're selling to.
Yeah.
And so it
So
looks
when
like you never sell.
somebody has interest or takes interest in what you're doing,
Yep.
tell them this is, I can send you this, but there's also a customized piece.
Yep.
If you really want to go deeper and make sure that this never happens to you again, I can help with that.
Yeah, and there's also an easy way to do that on Instagram using polls. So if you make all this content for free and you have all like your story and your poll or whatever, you could put in there in one of your stories something like if yours was coaching, you could say something along the lines of, I'm just curious how many of people watching this own a business. Do you own a business? Yes or no? And there's a yes or a no button. The people who click no, that's fine. But the people who click yes, you can see who clicks yes. Like it literally gives you a list. So then you have a list.
Yeah.
And those are warm. That's a warm lead list because they follow you. They consume your content already. And they clicked yes. And they should know from that, you're probably going to reach out to them. But then you just systematically reach out to them every, like if 20 people said yes, take the first 4, reach out to them on day 1. And I say do only 4 because that way you can be like you could spend 20 minutes on each one customizing your message to them. Hey, what's up? How you doing, man? I see that you just had a baby. Blah blah blah. How's the baby doing? And all that. And anyway, just let them know privately what you sell.
Yeah, and kind of move through that. And that's another way to get clients. I mean, that's a huge way to do that. And everything's shifting so much right now. How you were able to get a client 10 years ago is way different than you got one 5 years ago.
Yeah.
How you got one 6 months ago is now different today than it was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to change and move. The more I'm on social media and the more social media kind of becomes involved in my life, the creepier people get.
Yeah.
And I think you understand that from
Yeah.
all of your time in the social media world.
Mm-hmm.
I like, there's all kind of different things. Like a guy from Dubai tried to call me, and I think he's selling something, but he's at least adventurous.
Yeah, he's trying.
And I just block those people and move on. But I don't try to get involved in anything they're trying to do or sell or anything like that because I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
They could be a bot working for some company like The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
You know, so if
Yeah.
you don't know that movie, it's crazy. But it's possible.
Right. Yeah, totally. And you don't know who someone is online, especially when they're reaching out from some sort of number that looks foreign or something
Yeah.
like that. It does throw up red flags, especially for us here in the States. But speaking about getting clients, another thing I love, especially if you have a business that can benefit from local clients, walk into their store and just chat with someone. Start building a relationship with them.
How about you're even better? You're a customer.
Yeah, there you go.
How about you hang out? Not only do you hang out, you buy stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
yeah.
just like you said with the guys, the first guys that you picked up,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like,
you just showed up for them.
yeah.
If they have an event, they're going to have an event, show up at the event, buy popcorn.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the first guys that I edited for, I'd been consuming their content already. I knew everything about all their content. And so when they
Yeah.
were like, "Can you edit for me and make it look like I'm doing it?" I was like, "Yeah, easily." Or not even make it look like I'm doing it. "Can you edit for me and match my style?" I was like, "Yeah, 100%. I know I can match your style because I've been consuming it for the past 2 years."
You knew
know?
what it was.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that you have to spend 2 years wooing a client, but at the same time, I easily got that client because there was trust, there was
Yeah.
value,
I think Grant Cardone, one of the things I saw with Grant Cardone, he talked about he has a client now that he had pitched stuff to for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And then when he came out with his last investment offer, the guy put in like $10 million.
Wow. Wow.
He said, but he didn't lose the relationship. He didn't lose the enthusiasm toward staying with that client and staying in touch. He just stayed in it.
Yeah.
And, is it worth 15 years of staying involved for a $10 million deal? Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
If that's the only one you get for me right now, that'd be a good one.
I'd say so. I
Yeah.
think that would lead to everything else.
Yeah, you'd be like, all right, we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think that there's value in not giving up on a client that you really want to work with.
Yeah.
Like even some of the greats that you say, one day I want to edit for so and so, or one day I want to work with so and so.
Yeah.
Go for it. Like why would you not try to? But my thing is, don't be annoying. Don't be a pest. Because those people at that level, they get thousands of direct messages a day. Your chances of even being seen are very small. You need to be able to get their attention by doing something different and by adding value.
Add value to them. Do something. Yeah, like Coach Burt Steele, one of the goals that I have for my coaching business is he has a conference that he puts on every year called Activate. It's coming up this September. My goal would be to be there by September and be able to speak at Activate
That'd
with
be
Coach
awesome.
Burt. May not make it by September because whatever I need to be able to do that, I may not be by that point.
Right.
Whether that's relationship-wise, whether that's physical, whether my content's not what it needs to be, something.
Yeah.
But that next year, if I stay in the game and I keep working and keep striving and keep going, that goal's possible. And then just being able to be a part of that event and speak on that stage changes everything.
Yeah.
It moves everything.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you've got to become the person that the client would actually want to work with.
Oh yeah.
And that's scary because that means that there's growth back to what we do.
Yeah.
That means that there's growth. But once you become that, scary or not, it's a different level.
Yeah. I was talking to someone yesterday. I was at a local grocery store, and I just started having a conversation with someone, and they said, "Oh, that's cool that you do that," because I told them what I do. I run a social media agency, and they said, "That's really cool. I'm going to start going around to businesses in town and start doing their social media."
Oh.
And I thought, okay, cool. And my first thought was, competition. And so then I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Have you talked to anyone yet about it?" And he was like, "No, I haven't."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, okay. Do you do social media? Like, is that something you've done in the past?" "No, I haven't." And I was like, "Okay. Are you going to? Like, get on it, man."
Yeah.
And I say that. I found out later that this person's still young, still in high school, so they've got plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that they had that idea, it was like, great, go after it, get on it and start moving. And because I think that people look online on Instagram and they see people that are business owners and they think I can do that and I can do it within a year, or I can do that within 3 months or whatever. But I look at where I am now and it's taken me, since I started in the YouTube industry, this will be year 11 that I've been in the YouTube industry. And I just now get to this point where like I have a studio and I got people working with me, and
have a podcast.
Got a podcast
that's on YouTube.
That's right. And now, granted, I could have done all that sooner than 11 years. You really can. It just depends on how hard you want to work at it.
Right.
But I do think it takes a long time to build those relationships and that trust.
Yeah, long obedience in the same direction is what Coach Burt talks about for success.
Yeah.
He said, when you see somebody really succeeding, they've had long obedience in the same direction. They've been moving in that direction. You may have saw them, and the problem that I think that we get into is we lock people into when we last saw them.
Yeah.
Like if I showed up at my high school reunion, everybody would still see me as Steve Miller in high school that hasn't seen me since high school.
Right.
I'm not even close to that person.
Yeah.
I'm a long way away from that guy. I'm still Steve Miller. I'm just not the same guy. I don't have the same talents. I don't have the same abilities.
Yeah.
And I've been obedient to the same thing for 30 years, and now I'm shifting into something else. Now, all of the stuff that I did will carry into that.
Yeah.
But it's a whole nother game, and the learning curve's high.
Yes.
And every time I walk into a different room, it's like, here we go. You're on the bottom.
Yeah.
Haven't been on the bottom in a while, but you're on the dead bottom.
Yeah.
But I like being on the bottom. Being on the bottom of all of that means that, I can grow. And, at some point, I'll get to the next one. But the crazy part's the next level I get to, I'll be on the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. That Andy Frisella says, because, he started the 75 hard and all that, but he says every day is day one.
Yeah.
And just because you've made it to a certain point or something like that doesn't mean you don't have more to learn, more to grow, more to do.
Yeah.
And so every day is day one.
The craziest thing, I listened to Tom Brady yesterday in an interview, and Tom Brady was talking about his day and how everything shifted when he was 30. He said, I was really in great shape. I was elite. I was putting in the time. I was disciplined. But he said, I wanted to play 10 more years. So he started researching and found a guy that he thought he could help him get to 10 more years in the NFL. So they start working, and 5 years later at 35, he said, I felt like I was 25. So I told him, I said, I think I can go to 45.
Wow.
But one of the things, we're talking about 75 hard. One of the things in 75 hard is drinking a gallon of water. I've got that. And I'm down. That's good. That's become a habit. It's still hard sometimes. At the end of the day, I'm still having to drink some water, having to make myself do that. Well, Tom drinks 2 gallons of water a day.
Does he really?
Yeah, I'm sitting there listening to him, and he's like, because my muscles needed to be, very hydrated because of what we were doing and how we were working, I drink 2 gallons of water a day. And he said that, and I literally went in my head, I don't know how he does that.
No, I don't know how he does that either.
But in the interview, he's drinking a bottle of water.
Yeah. Yeah. He has to be. That is intense. For anyone who's not done 75 hard, you have to drink 128 ounces of water a day. And most people don't actually conceptualize that very well. They don't understand how much 128 ounces is. I have a coffee cup right here from Karma Coffee House. If you need some coffee,
Karma.
Go check out Karma Coffee House in Coleman, Alabama. This is a 20-ounce cup right here. So if you were to do 128 ounces of that would be, you need 6 of these, right? A little over 6, like maybe 7 of those.
7 of those.
Yeah, and you might not think that's a lot. It doesn't feel like a lot, but your stomach, if you tried to chug them, you would realize that's a lot. It's a lot. So then to say 128 times 2, that's a whole nother level. I can't even fathom that.
Yeah, it's a complete game changer. It changes everything. And then the client piece, and I think we can close out. But one of the things I think that we miss, or I miss all the time, is the intensity that people put into getting clients.
Yeah.
And back to Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi said one time he was getting ready to launch his gym, and he put out 5,000 postcards. And he's talking to a guy that runs another gym that's very successful. And he was excited that he put out 5,000 postcards. And the guy looks at him and goes, "You put out 5,000?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We test with 5,000 and then we run 50,000 a week."
Yeah.
And Alex Hormozi went, oh,
It's a different level.
didn't know.
Yeah.
Just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we come into a lot of times. We want X, but we don't realize what that guy's doing to get X.
Exactly. You don't see all that happens behind that.
No.
He talks about that a lot, about the number of inputs versus outputs.
Mm-hmm.
And another story he shares is a guy was like, "I'm not growing as much as I want to on social media." And Alex said, "How many posts are you making a week?"
Yeah.
Or "How many posts are you making?" And he's like, "Oh, I got that covered. I'm posting once a day." And he goes, "Once a day, I put out 30 pieces of content every day."
Yes.
And
on
that's
all channels.
On X, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. And the guy was like, "Say no more. I get it. You're at a different level and your inputs are way greater than my inputs. And that's why your outputs are way greater than my outputs."
Yeah. One of the things I heard recently that if you put out one piece of content a week, some people are doing that and they think they're great.
Yeah.
It's like dropping a pebble in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, your chances of getting seen are zero, really.
Exactly, yeah.
You've got a better chance of winning the lottery twice back to back
Yeah.
than you do to get any traction doing one piece of content,
Yeah.
a week. And it's really cool because of your experience and expertise and how you work YouTube. We're about to roll out YouTube on my coaching business side. When we've got a big podcast coming, we need to focus on that. So after we finish that big podcast, we'll start rolling YouTube stuff, on the coaching business side. And when we do that, it'll look like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
Who
Just
is
out
that
of
guy?
nowhere. Yeah.
There he is.
Yep. Yep.
And it'll all be because of how we spin content.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes from 11 years of not just doing it on a very high level with people that understood content before you showed up with them, which helped you understand that's the level you have to play on.
Yeah.
That's the content you have to put out.
Yep.
So it's really neat.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching the Growth Over Comfort podcast. We're going to start putting out 30 pieces of content every single day. And I will probably collapse and take a 6-hour nap every day. At that point, it's just sleeping. You know?
It's just sleep.
Yeah. But seriously, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, all the stuff. We'll chat with you guys next time. Make sure that you choose growth over comfort.